I will say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Getting a little tired. My name is Nancy Reed, and I'm the Dean of the Doctoral Program for the University of Scouting. Helping me today will be Emily Michelson, Dave Bastine, and Harold Burgess. Thank you. It is my pleasure to help award these folks who've done a lot of hard work. We have the pleasure in the Baltimore Area Council of having one of the longest continuous running universities of scouting in the nation. And that is thanks to the hard work and the dedication of the volunteers that have spent countless hours, and we are priceless, sir, to bring training to you, and we will hear a lot more about that as you talk to folks. The first doctorate was presented at the university in 1986 to Mr. Edwin Perkins, and we have been presenting doctoral awards ever since. There have been thousands that have studied at this university, but there is only a few that have gone on and completed their doctoral program. They will tell you that they thought it would be a difficult journey, but found the greater accomplishment and satisfaction in the completion of that journey. To date, we have presented over 100 doctorates, and we have the pleasure of adding 6 more who can call themselves Doctorate of the Baltimore Area Council, University of Scouting. At this time, I would like to start those presentations. Would Mr. Mark W. Grappen please stand and come forward? Mark is actually from the National Capital area, the George Mason district, so he comes up to experience our university. He has been involved in the scouting program for 7 years and is currently a unit commissioner. Mark's paper was entitled An Examination of the Correlation Between the Recognition and Retention of Adult Leader Volunteers in Scouting. He examined the use of the recognition in scouting and if it really helps to retain leaders and volunteers. He found many varied opinions, as I'm sure you can imagine, and his thesis can be summed up in one short sentence that was from one of the commissioners he surveyed. Knots, in and of themselves, are not so important as what they represent, which is our dedication to scouting. The university is proud to award Mark W. Grappen the 101st Doctoral Award. Would Victor M. Torres please come forward? Victor hails from the National Pike District and has been involved in scouting for 11 years and is currently registered as a Scoutmaster with Troop 2010. And as you will note, I said currently registered in. As you know, most of us wear many hats. Victor is well known for his work with the A Scout is Reverent retreat, and he completed his paper and entitled it Best Practices in the Implementation of an Interfaith Scout Retreat, Lessons Learned from a Scout is Reverent Retreat. His model has been used nationwide to develop interfaith retreats for our youth. Victor spent countless hours developing a manual on how to develop and implement successful programs to help all faiths understand scouting's importance to duty to God. It is our pleasure and proud to present Victor M. Torres the 102nd Doctoral Award. Would Richard Jim Newell please come forward? Now, I asked him before I could do this, and I just want you to know that if you don't get your doctorate done your first or second year, don't worry, sometimes we need to wait 20 years. But proudly. Jim is from the Four Rivers District and has been in scouting for over 30 years. He is currently registered as a unit commissioner within Four Rivers. Jim's paper is something that is near and dear to his heart, Leave No Trace. He wanted to see how well the concepts of Leave No Trace training that are taught in every aspect of scouting program were really implemented, and did our youth understand that program. Unfortunately, Jim found that we all need to do a better job in keeping Leave No Trace in the forefront of our youth. His paper was entitled Leave No Trace survey. And the university is very proud to present, 20 years later, Richard Jim Newell, the 103rd doctorate of the Would Ted Dotterline please come forward? Ted is from the National Pike District and has been involved in scouting for 35 years. I told him he didn't look that old, so he's doing something right. He is currently registered as an Assistant Scoutmaster of Troop 318. Ted put his money and his boots to good work. His paper is entitled Preparing a Crew for Philmont, A Parent Leader's Perspective. He created a step-by-step guide from the application process to shakedown hikes to gear costs, and a definitely wonderful overview of their trek to Philmont. And finally, and probably the most important for most of us, lessons learned on how to improve the process of taking a crew on a high-adventure program. The university is proud to present Ted Dotterline with the 104th doctoral award. Would John O. Simons, Jr., otherwise known as Jack, please come forward. Jack is from the Delaney District and has been involved in scouting for over 45 years. Again, he doesn't look that old. And is currently registered as a unit commissioner. Jack's paper, Making Training Records Work in the District, was the title. And as long as I have known Jack Simons, he's always been trying to get training records to stick in the district. Anybody understand that process? Well, I am happy to say his paper is a step-by-step process that finally figured it out on the concept of recruiting a knowledgeable district training registrar to help this process, and the step-by-step guide on how to use the ScoutNet process to make training records stick. His paper allowed districts to actually generate accurate training records for their charters. But I understand that ScoutNet is going away, and you're going to have to write another paper, Jack. His methodical approach to using systems is a thing of beauty indeed. The university is proud to award John O. Simons, Jr. the 105th doctorate. Would Joseph H. Varichelli, Jr. please come forward? Joe's paper, titled BSA Prepared for Life, Brand Identity Applied to First Aid CPR Preparedness. Joe explored if this slogan, Prepared for Life, is true as it relates to the first aid and CPR training that all youth receive in our programs. As with any skill, Joe pointed out that practice makes perfect and suggested as best practice idea for the Boy Scouts of America to have annual requirement to retest these skills and to provide for instant recognition to keep these skills honed. The university is proud to award Joseph H. Varichelli, Jr. the 106th doctoral award. I would ask that you please take time to speak with these individuals and our new PhDs for the university to learn about the work that they did. And I would be remiss if at this time I did not ask anyone that has ever received their doctoral award to please stand and be recognized.
Nancy, don't go. Please, come back. I met Nancy the first time, I think it was 2004, and she was my troop guide for the Woodbadge course. And next thing you know, I'm taking the very first venturing science class that we offered, and Nancy was the one who led that class. And Nancy has been supporting University Scouting for 15 years, and everybody wants to take a break and do less, but in reality they end up always doing more. I don't know if you've seen that. When you say, well, I'm doing too much, and you take a break, and there's 3 or 4 waiting for you to say, I'm going to take a break and pull you back in. But what I want to do is I want to recognize Nancy for those 15 years. and present to her a little token of appreciation that says, Nancy Reed, in recognition for her outstanding contributions to Baltimore Council's University of Scouting while serving for 15 years as faculty, Dean of the Venture Science Program, and the Dean of the Doctoral Program. Thank you very much. Ed, are you here? Yes. Ed, I want to recognize you, but I'm not going to make you come all the way down here. Knowing what the general said, you might want to go through a ladder and then just stroke down, and we don't want you to do that. But also, Ed, who's been working for Cub Scouts for many, many years, Ed, we also have a recognition for you. And I'll get it to you later on. But again, thank you very much for supporting us throughout this time. Ed's been great help. He's been a dean. A lot of the neckerchiefs that we have, his wife has made him. So Ed, thank you very much, okay? And the last recognition that I have from my side is the good thing about being chancellor is you control the time. So you organize the schedule. But the last thing that I want to do before we present the Fellows Award is Bob Faber. Are you here? Bob is back there. Bob is saying hi, and he's sort of saying goodbye at the same time. Bob Faber has been in this council for many, many years, and he's leaving us at the end of the month. He's moving to Oklahoma, Bob? Okay, Bob is moving to Oklahoma. So, Bob, we'll get this to you, but also thank you for your 10 years of teaching, and we wish you the very best of luck. Thank you. And now for the awards presentation, I would like to call Dave Trees and Pam Thayer, who are going to be helping us. Please come up.
Good afternoon. I still have this year we at the university are very pleased to be able to present 2 fellow awards today. The Fellow Award is in recognition above and beyond the doctoral program. To earn this acknowledgement, a person must have earned their doctorate at the University of Scouting in the Baltimore Area Council. They must have taken an additional 15 credit hours beyond the doctoral requirement, and that's a total of 40 credits total. That's an additional 3 years, since you can only earn 7 credits per year. They must also develop and teach a new course at the university, and this award was initiated in 2005, and to date, we have presented 28 fellow awards, including the 2 today. And a little bit of history, the first fellow that the Baltimore Area Council presented, and the first nationally, is our own Rick Barber. So Rick, all of your efforts on this program, thank you. The award consists of a white neckerchief with blue trim, and it's got a special university attached with segments surrounding it. The Latin, it also includes a certificate, and the Latin at the top of the certificate reads, per idiom veratio, which translates, easier to say, with learning, service, and honor. Could I ask all the fellows who have been awarded, please stand up to be recognized? Following, just to let you know that Don, if you raise your hand real quick, we want to start taking pictures of all the fellows for our history. So please see Don, he's set up right outside of the auditorium. So at this point, I want to turn it over to Pam.
Charles A. Morgan III. Charlie is from the National Pike District. He has served on university faculty since 2009. He earned his bachelor's in 2008, his master's in 2011. Charlie received his doctorate in March of 2012 with the topic of Going for the Gold, a helpful session in helping units achieve the gold in the Journey for Excellence program. Charlie is our past council commissioner and is currently heading the Area 6's Membership Committee. We're pleased to present the University of Scouting 27th Fellow Award to Charles A. Morgan III. John O. Jack Simons. His real name. Jack is from the Delaney District and continues his many years on staff at the university. Jack earned his bachelor's in 2001, his master's in 2002, was awarded his doctorate just 5 minutes ago. With, as you heard, his topic of making training records work. Jack is also teaching this class today, and participants learn the strategies to recruit and train district training registrars by allowing these volunteers to access ScoutNet for their unit's training records. Yes, we are. We at the University of Scouting are delighted to present the 28th Fellow Award to John O. Simons.
Thank you. And we're almost time to go back to class. Are you fired up? Super. How many of you have never heard of Woodbadge? Be honest. How many of you have never heard of Woodbadge? Okay. Well, we're going to have a Woodbadge ceremony, and you will get to hear a little bit about what that is, and that is going to be led by Van Skovich and by Pam Flagle.
What she's trying to say is, good afternoon. And I'd like to welcome you here to this Court of Honor. My name is Vance Kovach, and I am the Chancellor Emeritus for this year's University of Scouting, and also the Course Director for NE 680. We're here today to conduct the Woodbadge Award Ceremony, and we are joined by the following course directors. Nancy Reed, NE 4210. You can just give a little nod when I call your name. That's them. That's them. Earl Baker, NE 665. Emily Michelson, NE 675. Pam Flagle, N6 220 11-1. Jim Morton, N6 220 12-1. Captain! Bob Marietta, N6 220 12-2. Go fishing! Pat Arcolano, N6 220 13-1, and that course will be held this spring. Helen Loomis, N6 220 13-2. Helen's back there. She's at the rear. And Helen is course director for the course in the fall. So we are privileged to recognize today from the course for the Woodbadge, NE 680, Beverly Getz and James Summers. And I'll call you all up in just a minute. Plus, we're also here to recognize Brian Mateus, Eric Johnson, and Stacy Carter from the course for the Woodbadge, N6 220 11-1.
I play tuba and this mouthpiece is not the right size.
horn. I'd like to acknowledge Chris Castillo for his fine attempt at blow the voodoo, and also for Lynn Shaw for assisting in that attempt at blow. On behalf of the Baltimore Council of Northeast Region Boy Scouts of America, I'd now like to call this special Court of Honor in session. You know, a Woodbadge ceremony is a very special event. It's not only special for the person or man or woman who's receiving their award, but it's also special for all Woodbadgers who attend. A Woodbadge ceremony has a tendency to rekindle that Woodbadge spirit inside of each Woodbadger as they remember from their own Woodbadge experiences. Woodbadge is the advanced training program that includes all program areas of Scouting.
In the fall of 1919, Robert Baden-Powell strode to the center of a clearing at Goel Park at Epping Forest outside of London. In his hand, he carried a curved horn, much like you've just seen, from the great kudu antelope. He was familiar with the horn, having heard the Zulu tribes used to signal each other during the wars. Baden-Powell used it to signal, but for a very different purpose. He blew the horn to call together the first formal adult leader training course for the Scouting movement. This course would in time become known as the course for the Woodbadge.
As I call your name, could you please come forward? And if you have assigned any specific people to help you with your presentation, if they could just come up at the same time. If we could have Bev and James, who are both members of the Screaming Eagle Patrol. And they are participants from the course for the Woodbadge NE 680, which I was the course director. And if we could have Brian and Eric, who are members of the Barbecued Bob White Patrol, which I don't understand. And also Stacy, who's a member of the Flagle's Eagle Patrol. And they are participants of the course for the Woodbadge N6 22011-1 with Pam Flagle as their course director. And if you guys you can span out maybe a little bit on the sides too to help with some of the space.
We would ask that those who are removing the work neckerchief, please do so. These neckerchiefs have been worn during the time that they learned and played at Course for the Woodbadge. That time consists of 2 full weekends of practical training and ended with completion of the Woodbadge ticket, which was a personal contract they made to themselves to use the lessons learned during the practical phase. The Woodbadge regalia consists of 2 simple wooden beads knotted on a leather thong, the Gilwell neckerchief with the McLaren tartan, and a neckerchief slide called the woggle, and a Woodbadge certificate.
The beads themselves are the tradition from Baden-Powell's start from Woodbadge training program in 1919. One bead signifies the practical course, and the other the application course, or the completion of their ticket. They're held together by a leather cord that represents 2 traits of a good, successful leader. One is strength, and the other is flexibility. Can you please place the beads on the participants at this time?
The next part of the award is the Woodbadge neckerchief. The neckerchief is top on the outside to symbolize humility and red on the inside to symbolize warmth. One of the early supporters of the Scouting movement was W.F. Du Bois McLaren. He purchased a rundown estate outside of London called Gilwell Park and donated it to Baden-Powell and the Scouts. It was here that Baden-Powell held the first training session to memorialize that gift. A small swatch of the McLaren tartan is affixed to the back of the Woodbadge neckerchief.
The leather woggle is fashioned from the Turk's head knot. The skill used to create it reminds us of the skills we learned during the practical phase of our course for the Woodbadge. Notice that the Turk's head has neither a beginning nor an end. This symbolizes the never-ending commitment of Woodbadgers and the commitment that they make to serve the youth and others. And you can please place that waffle.
The next part of the award is the certificate. The certificate testifies the abilities and dedication to scouting and others. The designs of the parchment remind us of how the skills that were learned were applied in the second part of the Woodbadge experience. It symbolizes your Woodbadge ticket. The certificate is presented by the Chief Scout Executive in recognition of the completion of the Woodbadge experience. Again, present the certificates. There's also a bit of a verse from Rudyard Kipling that's always been associated with the Woodbadge course. Who hath smelt wood smoke at twilight? Who hath heard the birch log burning? Who is quick to read the noises of the night? Let them join with the others, for the young man's feet are turning to the camps of proved desire and known delight.
Woodbadge is a simple statement of purpose and opportunity. The purpose is the service to Scouts, and the opportunity is personal growth. The two beads are recognition of their commitment to be leaders of impact, to improve the quality of the Scouting program that the Scout receives. Please join me in congratulating these 5 Woodbadge.